Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. Political correctness is about language and behavior that avoids offending or excluding people. In short, it's about respect and inclusivity, or as some people call it, being woke. But have we taken it too far, or do we as Canadians secretly love it? Here with the data, pollster extraordinaire and president of Research Co. Mario Canseco, and to give us his perspective from the low road, Vancouver-based comedian Dino Archie, and yes, this is the Low Road Report. So Mario, let's get the data first. Do Canadians feel like we are too woke or that we're too politically correct?
Not at all. I think when we compare the findings in Canada and the United States, Canadians are more likely to feel that being politically correct is the right course of action. It's something that happens a little bit more with the younger crowd, but it's not as if you have all the 55 and overs in Canada saying this is a mistake. Now, you look at the data in the States, that is where the situation changes. If you're a Republican, if you're somebody who is 55 and over, you're more likely to say, this isn't something that I care about, and I'm going to say whatever I want.
Interesting. So Canadians as a whole like political correctness from what I'm hearing.
Yes, but what we have is a slightly larger proportion who say, I'm doing this because it's safe. When you get right into, why are you politically correct? There's about a third who say, oh, this is perfect. This is the way it should be. We have to be respectful. But there's about 40% who say, no, I just don't want to get in trouble.
So they don't like it. They maybe feel like they're being bullied into it. Okay, interesting. Dino, every time you're on the show, especially at the start of the season, you try to get me canceled. So I feel like you have some hot takes
I know.
when it comes to political correctness.
Mo, I would like to tell you something right now.
Please.
It is never okay to be politically incorrect.
I don't know who this impersonation is, and I don't want to know, Dino.
You don't?
It is Martin Luther King Jr., great civil rights leader.
I don't think it's him. I think it's someone else. But you hear that. You hear what Mario's saying. People feel like they're being bullied into being politically correct, but yet they still support it. What's your take?
I know you think that I'm going to. I know you think I'm going to fight for the opposite side. Yes. I agree with political correctness.
You do?
I sure do.
Wow.
During the daytime.
Okay.
I think there's a difference of how people talk at day and how they talk at night.
Yeah.
That's why I do comedy. At night, you can talk different. And Mario, I got stats too. I did some research. 1973, New Jersey, guy named John Douglas is driving.
Yeah.
He's a member of the morality and media group. He's driving with his 15-year-old son. 7 Dirty Words comes on. So George Carlin, famous bit.
Yeah.
Only problem is he's 15, the kid, and it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon. They file a complaint with the FCC, goes all the way to the Supremes.
Wow.
I'm talking about the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They rule in favor of the FCC that they could uphold that those words were indecent. But what comes from that is an act that the Supremes put in called Safe Harbor, where they allowed broadcast stations to air indecent words from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
Thus, night talk.
Yeah. See, this is why my show airs at 9 o'clock, because we can only have you on at night.
This is something that we saw in the research as well. You know, we asked people, should we go all the way to changing the way books are written, removing some of the offending language, redubbing films so that nobody gets offended? And most people in Canada and the United States say, no, let me make the decision. I understand that these are creations from somebody.
Yeah, fascinating.
And that is part of the complexity here, because you do have that 10% who want to change everything, redub the movies, change the things. Yeah. I don't want to say anything that could be remotely seen seen as something that is negative.
So most Canadians are not in support of that, of rewriting history, rewriting kind of records.
No, what I think where we draw the line is have some sort of disclaimer before. And this is something that we're seeing particularly on Warner Brothers cartoons.
Right,
If you look at some of those new editions, it's
Disney
like, well,
cartoons,
Disney.
yeah.
I mean, I watched Peter Pan a few years ago during the pandemic, and I was shocked by the level of racism in the movie.
Sure,
And it starts with,
Different
hey,
time.
listen, this was a different time. This is what we're trying to do things differently. It's not as if you're going to back and change the movie to remove everything that's offensive, because then Peter Pan is 3 minutes long.
Exactly, yeah. Now, how do Canadians feel about censoring comedians like Dino here?
Not something that they support. And I was curious about that question, because what's been happening, in my estimation, is we're speaking to each other on social media very differently than the way we would have spoken publicly 10, 15 years ago. So you have politicians who say whatever they want, and we do have majorities of people in Canada and the US who say, no, you're not supposed to say whatever you want. You have to be politically correct most of the time or all of the time. With comedians, fair game.
So
Say
you
whatever
have
you want.
a hall pass.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think, but they hold comedians to a higher standard than elected officials. Elected officials can become comedians now. They've stolen our night talk and they've used it in the day.
Wow.
And we have had to consider policing how we speak,
Yeah.
so we could get hired at night.
Is that why so many comedians now make jokes about politicians? Like, I feel like more comedians are making political jokes.
You know, I feel like, it just depends on the time and the type of comedian you are.
Yeah.
You know, there's comedians that aren't political at all. Nate Bargatze, you know, different comics that are successful. But if that's what's interesting to you, that's fine. But I find that political correctness, it's fluid. It depends on the politics of that time.
Totally.
Like, it's okay at a certain time to make fun of a certain person. Like right now, you can make fun of white women. It's not.
I mean, I'm not going to on this show, but
I'm just. You won't get it. You won't get a letter, or you won't get a complaint. If you make fun of trans women, now we're getting in dicey territory.
Sure.
So it depends on the time.
yeah.
That reflects.
Do you
the
get
politics.
pushback at your shows ever from people in the audience who just want to see comedy, and then you say a joke that they deem politically incorrect?
I don't do politics in my comedy, and if I
No,
do,
but politics aside, but just something that might be offensive to someone and someone gets mad.
you know, not in real time, and every once in a while, you kind of need that. You need to check the temperature. You need to check the temperature to see if what you're saying is valid, if it's true. You can try to appease everyone, but you know that's almost impossible, or you're not really saying anything.
Yeah. Does that mean you're going to take Mario's polling, and next time someone gets offended by what you say, you're going to say, well, you know what? You're on the wrong side of history because Canadians say that I can say whatever I want.
So will I turn to a Karen if I need to? I feel like, you know, I mean, I feel like the beauty of political correctness, like I said during the day, is at night you get to cut free. I feel like everyone's politically incorrect in their group chat.
Yeah.
I feel like if everyone subpoenaed group chats, we'd all be canceled.
Don't give anyone any ideas, Dino. I mean, we have a group chat. I don't want that public.
Yeah, we don't want. Yeah, it's at night. We say things at night. It's just a different. It's a different.
Do not
sense of
file
humor.
a Freedom of Information request on this.
Really quickly, just to end us off here, Mario, in your polling data, was there anything that surprised you that you thought, I thought Canadians thought this, or maybe something that was contradictory in the polling data?
I think it's really how much we believe in the concept compared to the Americans. I think you have a lot more Americans who are saying, I'm just doing this because I have to. And you have more Americans who say, I'm doing this because I want to. Lower numbers than what we see in Canada, but it's something that is going to change generationally. You look at the 18 to 34-year-olds. They believe that this is the right way to go. Where are we going to be 10 years from now? I sure hope to be here to measure it.
30 seconds as an American Canadian. What do you think about that?
I pray for. I have a dream that there will be a world where people can be politically incorrect and we can all laugh at it at the same time.
You did that whole impression without talking about pudding. Wow. Very well done. Mario, Dino, thank you so much for your
You're the
time
one
tonight.
wearing the sweater. I'm just saying.
We're going to edit that one out. We're going to censor you.
No, we won't.
Folks, that is our show. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Tamara Taggart and, of course, Dino Archie and Mario Canseco for tonight's show. If you want more Dino, he'll be at Rifflandia in Victoria this weekend at the Laughlandia stage on Saturday, September 13th. And on November 2nd, he's taping his next special at the Inlet Theatre in Port Moody. I'm going to go low road and ask him for free tickets to both, but make sure you check out dinoarchie.com for more information. Also, if you have any thoughts on back to school, labeling your kids, political correctness, or my cardigan like Mario just did, please shoot me an email, mo@thisisvancolor.com. Also, I'm on social media, against my will, @VanColor. We're back next week to talk about healthcare in BC, but until then, stay colorful, friends. Peace.